Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to our Q&A. I think this is the 4th week we've done it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Week number 4. I'm Mod James. With me I have...
Oh, Mod Rowley.
What do you do, Mod Rowley?
I am a content developer.
Same as last week.
Smoothing through there. Yeah. It was quick, it was right.
Hi, I'm Mod Pie. I'm a combat specialist and content developer and game engine developer and ninja. I think that covers it.
You do a lot.
Yeah.
I'm Mod Kelpie. I am project manager and lead ninja.
As usual, you can ask your questions in the Twitch chat. You can ask them. We have a load of questions from Reddit forums, and you can ask them on Twitter as well. Twitter hashtag is down below. We have a few cool, big, and recent topic questions this week, but I'm going to kick it off first with a less serious, more light-hearted question of coming in from Airalter of what is your favourite quest? Anyone want to jump in on favourite quest?
What do I? Well, Wakes is probably a big favorite of mine. I think just kind of like the mixture of the combat and the lore and stuff was very good. Yeah, that, and I think the Ozan Desert ones were cool. Like, so the Stolen Hearts and
Who knows?
Diamond in the Rough.
I thought it was cool. I like going over the buildings. I thought they were cool.
Yeah, the agility thing was cool. I have to agree with you with Wild Wakes, just for the pacing of the quest. There wasn't a single point in that quest where I got really bored. But for legacy reasons, it has to be Underground Pass.
Underground Pass, mate.
Purely because I remember back in the day, my friend came round and we just kind of all done it. And then you're going through, and the guy's whispering to you that you're gonna die and stuff. It's just it just created a nice atmosphere, even though they didn't have the tools back then.
Fair enough.
I've got quite a short memory span, so it changes constantly. It's got to be a Dimension of Disaster at the moment, but that's more just to big up the Guardians.
Fair enough. I guess you are on the team that made it.
It was really cool. I really like going back into.
It's cool, alternate universe,
yeah.
A very good take on 200 after the number 100. So. Mine personally, for Airalter, mine is Monkey Madness. Just love that quest. Did it the day it came out. Just find it funny. The jail. Everything about it is just, I think it's quite a cool quest. I enjoyed that one. And it's something we were just talking about a second ago was what's the most salty NPC in the game? Who's the angriest NPC in the game? We were thinking Ned, but then the thing is Doric? Is he pretty angry?
No.
I don't remember.
He's not that bad.
So guys in the chat, if you do know...
He's gruff.
Yeah.
if you do know in the chat, then what do you think is the most salty NPC in the game? Did you have any of those?
No, I can't think of any.
No, like I said, I was testing the Champions Guild the other day, and the guy who Laxaris or something, I can't remember how to pronounce it, but the guy who runs the Champions Challenge, if you give him something that isn't a Champion Scroll, he just replies to you "Why are you giving me this?" It's pretty good.
Well, it's another big question. So we'll kick it off with Billy Joe, number 1. Is there any reason the Explorer's aura resets after 24 hours rather than on the daily reset? I guess we tried to move everything towards daily reset. Seems odd.
Yeah, I think it's getting fixed for the next game update, so it will be at the reset time. So yeah. And
then what about Miscellanea? I heard whispers of Miscellanea earlier. You didn't say Miscellanea?
Yeah, we're looking into it. The way in which Miscellanea works is a bit different. Miscellanea works out what you get by the time since you last checked it. And the reason why that 24-hour period is actually in there is because if you check it before 24 hours, what you get is just not worth it. But we can just revert it as long as you guys are what, the first time you collect after 2 hours, you're going to get rubbish. But then once you sync up, I suppose it should be all right.
Because at the minute you can only collect it after 24 hours after you've hit the point that you personally completed the quest. And so if you know what time that is, it's still just annoying. Luckily for me, I happened to do it 10 minutes before midnight, so it's not too bad, but it's just a really weird one. And we'll jump into I didn't mention at the start, we have a small Tuska teaser this stream as well. We have Mod Deg sat behind the camera who, I'm going to say 15 minutes or so. He's waving.
Give him a time limit.
In 15 minutes or so, we're going to have a real quick teaser of Tuska, a little bit of Tuska, and some of the World Event. And then it's going to come over and answer a load of questions on it as well. So we'll have a load of Tuska questions. I've got some here, and then from the chat as well after that small segment. It's back into some of the questions. We'll go into a fairly big one here. So with Hellbuds receiving a small niche, and the topic of weapon niches being prominent in the community recently.
Mm-hmm.
Can we expect to see more of them introduced?
It's something that I'd love to see, personally. It's something that we're very much in discussions about, because the halberd change that we did on the beta, just to highlight two-handers, went down really well, and we're going to look to extend that to scythes soon as well, because
you're going to extend the same buff to scythes as
to scythes,
to two-hands. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah, I mean, and like Fang is pretty much like the worst drop at the moment from Raxor anyway. So you know what? Let's give that some money. So it's getting the 200 buff and the rate and the 2 distance on your AoEs.
The AoEs, yeah, that's pretty cool. The extra range of 5x5.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, why did you put to go into discussion with it? Why did you put the buff on that in the first place? Was it just to try and buff the 200s?
It was actually looking at what happened when you did those abilities with the halberd. It was actually bugged, and basically I had the decision of either cover the whole 5x5 area or do like this weird kind of ring pattern in 5x5 because it's 2 distance, and in the end I was just like, just do 5x5 because AoEs have a flat limit of 9 NPCs anyway. So it
like
should,
your barrage or your Jin Chombers did.
Yeah, exactly. So there's an inherent cap in there in the first place. So just go for it, and it's gone down really well, which is good to see. And it's sparked off a really awesome discussion. Like I was looking on Reddit and at the top of Reddit for ages.
The Reddit user Blackland, he put up 2 discussions, one on melee weapons and the second one on range and magic weapons. Some of the examples being things like daggers improve damage on the slice ability, hatchets improve damage against jungle creatures, longswords using 90% adrenaline on ultimates, and then through to things like cannons and chinchompers using additional damage on incendiary shot. Like big damage but high explosion rate on your cannon.
Yeah, this is all really cool stuff, and stuff like. I think it's awesome that this has sparked off this discussion because it gives us places to go, and people always argue, oh, which one's better, longsword or rapier, and so they're the same, by the way. But now there's actually a reason for them to be better.
So do we plan on going down this route of giving niches to these items? Is that
something we're certainly discussing. We've also got the inventor plans that we're designing at this stage. We're kind of seeing what's coming out of inventor first, and then we're looking at onto these other things.
And then, do you plan on releasing so at the moment you've done the Halley, right? And it's going to be the Scythe as well. Yeah. On the beta, is that planned to go live, or would you rather hold it back and do a full batch of we'll make the melee weapons first, with everything from your scimitars to your daggers to your
I think it's really down for you guys to decide, because it does affect balance, but also at the same time, it'd be really cool to actually get something cool like this in straight away. So if you guys are okay with the Halleys and the Scythes having this advantage earlier than the rest of the weapons before they start coming through, then we'll release it early. I mean, do you want to straw poll it?
Yeah, we can straw poll it.
Yeah.
All right. So do you want to just read out what exactly the straw poll? Whether you release the one or
whether you release the Halley Scythe, bigger AOE, before we release the others, or we hold off on it until we get time to look at and release the others.
Okay. So there you go. So that will be in your chat in just a second.
People are asking what I'm staring at. We do have the chat just down there, so if we are looking kind of...
The reason I don't look at it is because, well, one, if we're talking to each other, right, and I look over there, it's a bit rude. But secondly, I can't read it. So I have things highlighted out for me, which is cool.
It looks like the 2 options should be really early or hold if you haven't pressed the big button.
So from I'm Fitavant in the chat, any ETL a new boss?
I think we should wait for Deg to be around before we answer that. I think. Yeah.
So right, there's another question, but I'm gonna from the chat, but I'm gonna hold off until we get Deg over after the Tuska stuff, because he's probably best suited to answer that one. Won't be long, 10 minutes. They'll have the Tuska teaser. You should have that straw poll in the chat now, guys. So make sure you go and vote in that one. Alongside that, there was something else I wanted to mention, which was God books as well.
Yeah.
Another post very similar about what we could do with God books. There's been RuneLabs suggestions. I think we've mentioned it 2 weeks ago about what we'd like to do, maybe something with God books, because it's not very useful. There was the pocket slot item, but would we like to go further than that? Are we looking to go further than that and make it, something competitive again?
There's a project on our backlog now.
Yeah, I think
we have kind of discussed
Timbo
it.
is actually looking at it right now. So if you have any suggestions, tweet at JagXTimbo your suggestions for what the God Books could do and what they should do, because he's currently going through, doing some balancing, working out what they could do, so finding holes in the combat system, etc.
What are your thoughts on a page sync, like a God page sync?
I think that would be cool, because like I saw some threads earlier on as well saying that we need to keep the prices of some of the minor items up on treasure trails. So like a God Book sync, and then the God Books being useful would be like actually really good for treasure trails.
Yeah, at the minute, I mean, I guess a lot of people originally completed their Zami book. I imagine a lot of people have the Zami book completed, but then as to some of the other ones later on, I imagine there's not much point in people completing those nowadays, other than for kind of just the sake of completing it.
Yeah.
It would be quite cool if, do you know the old barrage remote where you'd like cast your stuff like that? And it's like
do that in Legacy,
you cast it and a page flies out your book. Like, so the wind has blown a page.
I think it might be a little bit more balanced than that.
The wind has blown a page away. Aww.
No.
But like, if it gave a good benefit, so it was worth having the page back.
Yeah.
Maybe then. And then the other thing was pocket slot. So are we going to move it to the pocket slot?
Yeah, I think so.
So I mean, the original suggestion was just pocket slot, but it'd be cool to give it some buff page sync
Yeah.
along with it. And we have the results from the straw poll. If you could zoom in a little bit more, that'd be cool. Unless someone else wants to read out the result. I'm looking at one of you guys.
It looks like As a Batch is winning, but not by too much.
So
61% As a Batch.
So
it's still fairly split.
It's fairly close, but the preference
Obviously,
is to hold back on the Halley buffs. And I imagine if it was just Halley, it would be closer, because obviously you've mentioned now the Scythe as well. It's probably a bit of a bigger deal being a tier 90. The final thing I wanted to mention on this this topic of the weapons, the niche abilities, is it would leave more room for new boss drops. I mean, right now, if you give a nice unique passive to hatchets, there is no tier 90. It's Crystal Tune. There's no tier 90 hatchet, is there? So
no, most of them are in the tool belts.
I guess then it. I guess we've got the tool belt and things like that. So, but then like tier 90 daggers, things like that, it gives like a bit of room, doesn't it, for more gear? That'd be a benefit.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
There's always benefit to being able to offer more rewards.
All right, so we'll jump in with another question. So, from I'm Burnable, I love your teaser of the Falador rework, and I've heard rumours of a Port Sarim one that's going around. Is it true, and can we see it in a future stream? Where do people find these rumours?
I don't know, who's been leaking stuff?
Kelpie's like,
I don't know.
messaging someone back, he's like, oh, by the way.
I don't know where the Port Sarim stuff came from, but it is true to a degree.
Oh, it's true.
I'm not sure how far along it is.
Yeah, I'm not completely sure it was finished, but I mean, back when I was in QA, I tested it a little bit, so
we can have a look.
Like,
and if the graphics team are happy that it's in a state we can show you, then maybe we can show them.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe is the answer.
Yeah,
but it's like we're not. Well, yeah, but we're not gonna. We need to get Falador out first, and that's taking plenty of time. So
focus the hype.
Let's leave that until Falador is out at least.
Okay. All right. Got another question about bosses, so I'll leave that one. Sir Eos Lee, will more quests start in the Champions, Heroes, and Legends guilds?
I think with quests anyway, for development, it's just what makes sense for that quest and that story. We don't really have any guild-based stories. We don't have anything coming off that.
There's not much storyline around them, really. It's just like the quest is to enter the guild, and once you've done it, you kind of enter the guild.
Maybe ask the question, should there be those sorts of quests? And maybe if people have ideas for that, then they could suggest them. It's been a while since
Legends Quest, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I think one of the top things on RuneLabs right now is an Araxor backstory lore quest, which is quite cool.
Yeah, it was like the very first RuneLabs idea.
It's by one of my friends.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a sequel to.
Rigging.
Could make it a sequel to Dragon Slayer. To start at the Champions Guild instead of a dragon, it's go kill Araxor.
Yeah. I know there'd be a lot of people that want their comp cape back that probably would not be happy with that decision.
Yeah.
So you got to do it.
No, we've done that enough times, I think. Asking for Araxor kills.
So from Messed Up Boy, are you planning anything special for the Wilderness? Anything to make it more appealing to skillers?
making the wilderness appealing to skillers is a bit of an oxymoron there. Like,
What?
to entice skillers in. I've never met a skiller that enjoys being in the wilderness yet. Like
they band together for their warband. Like, we'll group together and get through it together, guys.
I mean, you saw like the feedback we were getting for your wildy worm and stuff, and you forms, RuneLabs and stuff were flooded with put it in an area that's not the wilderness sort of stuff.
Like originally though, it had the rune rocks, and unless you had the heroes quest. It's
Personally, I'd love to do
it was
but
like the only rune
I'm a
rocks.
PKer, so like my view's a little bit skewed.
I remember the rune rocks a long time ago.
Maybe like the reason why the person is asking potentially is because they're more of a PKer and they want skillers in the wilderness for them to go PK. And I won't say much, but our chats about PvP has progressed a little bit. So Vampyre is actually going to be working on some PvP updates in the near future. Should be good.
Which I guess we'll tell you about that.
We're not going to spoil them too early.
Nothing else other than that.
Yeah.
So we'll do one more final question, then we're going to head over to Deg, who's going to show us some cool Tuska stuff, a small teaser. But so Void Miasma asked, will we be meeting Drakan in the next vampire quest? So you're working on that right now, aren't you?
Well, I'm supposed to be, but I'm doing a live stream.
Salty.
Oh, well, maybe it's me then. I think it's pretty common knowledge that he's in it. Whether or not you meet him, I mean, it's not too much of a spoiler to say you would.
In his castle?
It would be a bit disappointing if he was in the quest and you didn't meet him, I think, at this point. Although we
just
have
see
done
him
that
walk
before.
past a window.
You know, we did that before with like Vanaskula and Ranis. We saw them like when you were scouting out the castle. You saw them, but you didn't actually talk to them in the quest.
Like the next part of this quest is that you go in the castle, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I mean, that's all common knowledge. So you meet him, of course you do. Yeah.
There we go, so that's how answered. Anyway guys, now we're going to head over to Deg, who's going to show us a small teaser. Oh, he's saying 1 minute. Is he good? No, he's good now, We're going to head over to Deg. He's going to show us a small teaser of Tuska, and then we're going to head back over and ask him some questions on it.
Hello? Oh no, I just broke something. Excellent timing.
Are we still on? No.
Hang on.
So by the way, my favourite quest is One Small Favour. I'm glad. Thank you for asking. Someone on Reddit brought it up again recently. I was like, you're right, Reddit. That is a good quest. No one gives it credit. So here, it's been a while since we last showed Tuska on a live stream. It's probably been like a couple of months now. So I'm just going to do a quick refresher on this sort of back area because it's been so long since you've last seen it. So I don't even remember what it looked like back then. Maybe it was when it didn't have textures, or at least didn't have all this nice decoration. So we've got over here all of our faction emissaries for Saradomin, Zamorak, Armadillo, and Godless. Remembered all of them. There we go. Got all these quills, which during the event you'll be able to do like woodcutting and some other training on there. And down here we're going to have the entrance to the event. I'm going to show a little bit, just a tiny wee bit of that in a second. And we've got our shiny new wizard down here, and some little Tuska parasites, which in the previous stream mod MoxZio, something like that, worst mod name ever, showed off how he actually made those out of like changing bits from Calphite workers, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to show a bit of the event. There is one of 4 things that could happen right now. I'm excited to find out what I'm showing you. So to give a little bit of context before I do it, for people who haven't seen previous streams, the big part of this world event is the Astromancer, our little guy down here. It's going to send you off into space in teams of 10, a little bit less if you like have a pre-made team. And you're going to go up to these islands in orbit around Tuska, and you're going to charge a powerful god weapon, and you go use that to stab her in the face. So there's a few of these islands, and they're done in a random order. So let's see which one I get. Oops, that's the wrong thing. There we go. Don't look at those things that are on screen. Oh no, this is the one that I didn't want it to be. Not because it's not cool, but this one looks really cool with a lot of people, and there's only one of me. So here we can see a bar, another bar above it, a floating spear, some lightning things. You can see I accidentally opened my Beast of Burden. We can see, oh look, there's a cool skybox there. So the idea on each of these islands, we're charging the spear. So on each of the islands, we do it slightly differently. So on this one, first we have to build like a little thing that will attract lightning strikes. And then I'll put icons like this down, which I can then click. And that'll charge it a little bit. I can kill these little lightning dudes, and that'll charge it a little bit. Touch a few more of those. And a few more things sort of like that. Oh, apparently my game audio is super loud. And then you charge this up for a little while, and then you'll move on to one of the other islands. That is about what we're going to show you for Tuska for now. You're going to have to wait and see a little bit of the rest of what we got in store. So I think we're going to go back to the sofa and take a few questions on the World Event. Yeah.
When he does come over, just quickly, there is a code here. Nope. Yeah. At the bottom of the screen. That is for the RuneScape community road trip. So if you were here to get that code, then it's now there. If you want to know what it is, then there is a RuneScape community road trip forum. And I'm honestly not sure what the reward is, but
if you, I think your mic's muted.
I'm muted. Okay, I'm unmuted now. Okay, I'm going to say that again, just in case. So, welcome back. We've got loads of questions on Tuska for Deg from the community, from the forums from Reddit. Feel free to ask more in the chat, though, because we are pulling those out as well. At the bottom of the screen, right here, you can see a code that is for the RuneScape community road trip. There's a RuneScape community road trip forum if you would like to find out more about that as well, if you're not already a part of it. All right, going to kick it off straight away. Is the team behind Tuska working on a quest related to the Gobies?
Yes. Next question.
we go to do this quick fire. That was from Aaron, by the way.
Yeah, it's really, really early days on that quest at the moment because Tuska's been such a big project. But yeah, that's one of the things in our pipeline. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Where are players finding this stuff out?
I don't know. It's just random questions I pulled straight, purely from the from different areas. Lieutenant Shadow, will the Tuska event have voiced acting? Since the last 3 events have.
The Tuska event isn't going to have voice acting, I'm afraid.
Okay.
I mean, in general, voice acting is something we moved away from.
Just too many resources needed.
In quests and stuff. Yeah, it adds a lot of time to it. It's costly. It's Rowley, you've worked on a fair few VO quests, I think, haven't you?
Yeah.
And it's like the effort that you have to put in. You have to get all your text kind of written.
Yeah, I
mean, super in advance before you even like.
It does cause issues, sure. I mean, I personally, I've never really felt it took too long, but then I don't think I've really accounted for all of the time it takes up. Mm-hmm. I've said, oh yeah, it takes a week, but there's all this time before doing the actual recording and stuff where you have to get your script in order and you have to produce a massive script document and stuff like this.
Not only that, but there's only so many of us. So like, how many voices can we do between us before we have to like hire people who are good at it? And then
yeah, we did. I mean, we did.
Yeah. Have you done any voiceovers personally? Or?
Not personally.
Did we do any in the office? Or
a few people have done like little bits where we've put in like a couple of lines, haven't they?
I think the previous World Event was all voiced in office.
Right.
But that was
Marimba versus Braska one.
And I think we only got away with it because that was very, very silly.
Yeah.
And had a lot of post-processing on one of the main characters.
Fair enough.
I VO'd Ozan in the RuneScape trailer that you might have seen. That's my claim to fame.
Nice.
Whatever he says.
Yeah, like millions of people have come and go.
You did much better than I did. My attempt was poor. People might hate on you for that, you know. I think there's a lot of people who don't like that guy because of that. All right, 30 of May asked, after the Tuska World Event, will there be any repeatable content related to Tuska?
Yeah, so after the World Event, you're still going to participate in some of the activities, not all of them, but some of like the rewards might be gone, some of the rewards might be more expensive. But yeah, there'll definitely still be things to interact with.
Fair enough. And then from Bresmeen from the chat, will there be a place for skillers, or will it mostly be combat based on Tuska?
There is a lot for skillers to do. It might not have been easy to tell from like my really, really quick little snippet, but you could play through the whole thing, not doing, like as a pure, not getting any combat XP, not doing any combat stuff, and still really, really be contributing.
All right, cool. So yeah, definite involvement for skillers there. From Gyraid from the chat. All right, I'm going to give up on that pronunciation. From a guy from the Twitch chat. Will Iron Man get love from this update too?
Yes, I don't think there is anything as part of the Tuska update that Iron Man can't do.
And
so
that includes, you mentioned on the stream before, sorry to really touch on it, but that includes unlocking previous abilities.
Yep, should be able to do that as an Iron Man, yeah. So I said that it is group content, but your contribution is like quite individual. It's a little bit easier as a group. It's not enough that we go, well, an Iron Man could get carried through it. So that's like sort of our criteria for what an Iron Man can't do. So yeah, they can definitely do this and they'll get all the rewards and yeah, shouldn't miss out on anything.
All right, Airalter then comes in with another question of how long will the Tuska event last for?
About a month. Well, a month.
Yeah.
1 month.
A Mighty asks, if we kill Tuska, will anything happen to the air route? There you go, you just get a
kill
hand
Tuska
wave.
and find out, or don't kill Tuska and find out.
All right, from MetalManic9 on Twitter, we have Tuska is competing for the same food source as the Outer Gods. What is stopping the Outer Gods from?
I think it's killing Tuska. I think that's, destroying Tuska.
From destroying Tuska. So they're like to sabotage each other so they can get the life source from the planet.
Who's to say that the Elder Gods are aware of Tuska?
Okay. Well, isn't it? She's flying at the planet.
Yeah, but she's not there yet, is she?
No, not yet.
So maybe she's like eating from a different source at the moment. I don't know.
There you go, Law on the spot, guys. Someone call in Dave. Someone crying at his desk right now. No, what are they saying?
But surely, like, Tuska's been at other planets and
yeah, I mean, if she's
feeding there
on other parts of the universe, then they're not going to necessarily notice that she's doing it right yet.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I remember you said that she'd consumed other planets in the past when you came on before with Avatar and such. So.
Yeah, but she hasn't consumed the wrong planet yet.
All right, carrying on with Tuska questions. All right, another one from Twitter from Wesker767. Will we get more of a Tuska story with this world event?
Yes, I don't really want to go into it too much.
That's fine. If you don't want to go into it, then like we said, we already gave a little teaser.
Yeah, we'll find out a little bit
shortly
of her past.
You've released the date, haven't you, Kelpie?
Yeah.
There you go.
June, yeah. First week of June.
I'm pretty sure it was, I think that's the second, but it's a guess. So.
Yeah, it's the first or second, I think, yeah.
Cool. Right, another one. Will we encounter any other followers of Tuska besides Airroot during the world event?
No, we're not going to see anyone else supporting her because it's kind of difficult to find someone to support her. It's not a really compelling reason to follow a god. Let's hang out with this god as she destroys everything we've ever known. So no, just them. And
then another. Oh, it's gone away. There's a random one.
Don't like that question.
Okay, that's fine then. Which of the skills will be used for this world event?
I'm going to say about 2/3 of them.
Okay, fair enough. So a wide variety, basically.
Yeah.
What about your level? Is there any level caps on it? Or?
No, you can participate at any level. The experience will change with your level. And it won't have any effect on your ability to participate. Changes some of the rewards because we're giving out a new form of War Priest, which, like the old ones, changes with your level as well.
Oh,
so if you're very low level, it's, you know, very low level armor.
There was some. You showed us some pictures of that in game before the War Priest. It looked really, really cool. So you can probably find that if you have a look around on the internet somewhere, be on Reddit somewhere. And final question is, how long will it take to cap the world event contribution each day?
So it depends a little bit on your skill level, not as in your actual numbers, but your ability to be good at RuneScape.
Okay.
So in theory, you could do it in 20 minutes.
Okay.
Well, in theory, you could do like 90% of it in 20 minutes. There's like, we've put in like a little bit. You can do some extra, and it comes in at like kind of a slow rate.
Like a diminished rate.
That.
So if you want to add that last little bit, maybe.
Yeah, and that'll take an extra hour. But for, I think after the first couple of weeks and people have figured out what they need to do, just 20 minutes. Otherwise, maybe 40.
Okay.
Like, it's really not. We didn't want it to be like stand there and grind and grind and grind all day like it has been in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting involved in some of the playtests, and after my second run through, like I was doing it within the 20 minutes period. So yeah, I think it's like one time to learn it, and then after that, it should be good.
So any other questions you have in the chat for Tuska or anything else, can be absolutely anything at all, then feel free to ask it, and we'll pick those out. You can also ask on Twitter as well, and the hashtag should be at the bottom of your screen. Back to some of the bigger topic questions. Feel free to answer as well, Deg, if you have any input on them. Feel free. Don't worry.
Thank you.
And we should get some more, have some more Tuska ones coming in as well. Any news? This is coming from SmeeM. Any more news on whether you decided to change update frequency or not? So that's a really big one.
We've had a bit of information back. Not anything I'm going to share at this time, I'm afraid.
Still under discussion then.
So yeah, we've been running surveys and such, and we had some information back from that. It threw up some more questions, so there's still a bit more to like delve into. But I think we're close to an answer.
Okay. When can the players counter it then from what a player might say? When can the players expect to hear about your decision on this topic? Do you think is it going to be short, like near future?
I can't tell for sure, but yeah, I would say within like, I would like to think within like a month or so.
All right, cool.
Like, I'm leaving that quite open because I can't say with.
Well, something's better than nothing for the players at least. So.
Yeah, it would be pretty soon, I think.
Okay, another question from Bloxton. Any update on XP blocking, quest XP rewards, change to lamps, or more com XP distribution options?
So this is an interesting one. We get a fair amount of requests for either being able to block XP, as you've said, or kind of like people ask us for rollbacks, so they've accidentally gained some defense XP, can we get a rollback? We've never really said this is definitely what we're doing. Yes, you will never do those things, or we will. But I think the time is that we actually do. So yeah, I think we'll open this to a straw poll to get some opinions on it.
In the chat then, straw poll in the chat in the next 30 seconds.
So yeah, it's really, we're really asking, should we allow people to be able to block gaining XP on any skills of their choice? So you could say, I don't want to gain any more defense XP, and then that way when you use lamps or whatever, that might be defense lamps, you just won't get it. There's no way to accidentally gain XP in that thing.
So you can't misclick something, get XP.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think.
Do you want to misclick a good Thixium butterfly in a.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, well, I think.
I
always kind of thought, though, like being a pure account, like you're deliberately setting yourself that challenge of like playing the game and like avoiding XP, like that's the challenge.
Yeah, certainly. I think a few pures right now are raging at their desk at the even thought of blocking XP. Yeah, because part of the achievement of being a pure is that you haven't accidentally screwed it up.
Exactly. So it's an interesting thing, and I think personally I would agree with that mentality of like I don't think we should. It's part of the challenge and stuff. But as I said, we get a lot of requests for it, so it'd be interesting to kind of ask the players and see what they generally think.
While the straw poll is in the chat, there's another question for you, Mod Deg, from Skyzer RS. How will we know if we're beating Tuska or losing on any day?
I think we showed this in a previous stream, actually.
Yeah, we did.
I hope so, because I might be about to say something I shouldn't. So
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, I think so. So you might have seen on my screen, if you scroll back, right, now you're back, there was a bar at the top before I went onto the island bit when I was just walking around Tuska. That is basically Tuska's health bar. And you can also hover over it and it tells you which which god representatives did that damage. So if you hover over it, some of it will go red for the Zamarakians, some of it go white for the Armadillions, and so on.
Okay, cool. And there's the godless as well, isn't there, involved?
Yeah, and Ceradomin. There we go.
Okay. All right, we do have the results from the straw poll. I'm going to ask if you can zoom in a little bit more, please. And yes, is winning. Again, it's really close
It's
again.
really close, yeah.
So for blocking experience,
It's a really split chat today.
56% is that?
it's around there. It's very, very close.
Still plenty of votes coming in though, so maybe we'll check it again in a little bit. Maybe
that's both of our questions there have been really close. What do you do when something's so close?
Well, I mean, for the straw polls in these
Straw polls
chats, we never make like a final decision based on it.
Gauging interest.
Yeah, gauge interest. I mean, like if this was like heavily for yes or no, then we'll probably kind of take that as a kind of like we won't pursue that any further, depending on what the question and results are. For this says like to me like if we're going to make a decision, we probably need to do a proper poll in game. Yeah.
Right, fair enough.
And do some more investigation and stuff, obviously.
So another one of the big topic questions from Bryjow123. Do you guys plan to fix shadow drakes currently untargetable in the wilderness when people are using it as a beast of burden?
Our fix is going out next week.
I heard a response about the rhino doing something similar originally,
Yeah.
so that's what it's based on.
I spoke with the MTX team and they've got a fix going in for next week. Basically, the beast of burden functionality of the legendary pets just won't work in the wilderness.
Okay.
So
there you go. You have your fix soon. Back on to more of the general questions. Again, feel free to ask questions in the chat. There is another one, but I want to check with you if you want to answer or say anything about that first.
Yeah, I can say something about that, I guess.
You sure? Okay, well, there we go. So from Anscut from the chat, is the Astromancer in the Wizard's Tower going to get any dialogue pre-event? I don't know why I asked that. It was a different one to one that was there earlier. I thought it was a similar one. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll talk to you if you show him something worth talking about. Oh, I'm so cool.
I don't know what's going to be said in the chat. We're going to be interesting.
there's like hundreds of players now just go into the Wizard's Tower just trying everything on
Yeah, just empty your bank on him, he'll love it. Don't pick your bank back up, you have to leave it there.
Right, I'd love to see some of the responses picked out from the chat if you can as well. X-Tempers, will there be any tier 90 boots and how will they be obtained?
Right, yeah, this is one I can field in Monstertew's absence. This is going to be something we're releasing with the Adamant and Rune Dragons project from RuneLabs. And they will be, I think I'm allowed to say this, is that we'll be having unique drops from Rune Dragons that you'll be attaching to Glacial boots.
Okay, so the boots that will exist, so like a sync those boots as well.
Where's that manip?
Yeah. You're going to have Models on Saturday's desk for the second hand stream like, no, what is he doing?
Hashtag buy boots.
Well, there's no difference. He says that to me every day. But yeah, they're going to be unique to Rune Dragons as drops. So hopefully that's going to encourage people to go.
Okay, that's interesting. Then. So we have Adamant and Rune Dragons. Okay, and now I know that there's the unique item to Rune. So what's Addy going to be? That's interesting. You don't have to say if you don't want to, but
well, I'm not sure they have one. I can't remember. I mean, they have at certain points in the design had a unique drop, but I don't recall if that's stayed.
Okay.
There is something else special about Addy Dragons.
I thought I heard something special.
I think that's something we don't want to spoil.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. It's more for Stu.
Right, I'm going to ask another one. From 30 of them. Did I ask this one already? Will there be any more bosses implemented this year?
I think you asked that one and then you elected not to answer that one.
Okay.
waiting for this man.
Well, we wanted to wait for you. Like, I'm assuming you have an opinion on.
Yeah, we might be doing a boss. I don't know.
Might be.
I'm actually currently in the process of working on a boss, and just before coming down, got killed by it in like a 6-man group, which was okay though because it's intended for 10, and we totally would have done it. It's a bit close. So yeah, the same team that is working on Tuska and the Gobi quest is also working on raiding, and that's going to be bosses.
Can we scroll down the chat because I can't see what people are saying anymore?
You click the bar, the
more messages
below.
below.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, cool.
So yes, going to be bosses
So it went from like
soon. TM.
there might be, there will be. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
It's no secret they're working on raiding.
Yeah.
And raiding will feature bosses.
Really?
Is that
Is that a traditional thing to be in a boss? Look at him.
We're mixing it up for RuneScape.
Yeah.
You know? Most other raids in games
like
I hear are just poker.
First raid, like chop down this big wall of trees.
XX Pyrox is a ninja crest. Can we have battle staff shops reset at the daily reset time? That's why we moved everything to this reset time. There's always
something more on the list.
Another ninja request that I thought we'd definitely add from Inhawk157. Why is there still a magic level requirement on the Pharaoh Scepter? So for those who don't know, the other week we changed the magic level requirement on the Scepter of the Gods, which is a request from you guys. Apparently it's still on the Pharaoh Scepter, so we need to remove it from that as well.
I suppose we can do that. I kept it on the Pharaoh Scepter because it was a nice high level thing for skillers, but screw it.
Okay.
I can just put it on the Pharaoh Scepter if people want me to.
Watch this to see now.
Battle staff reset should be interesting.
Battle staff reset, a daily reset.
Yeah.
So I guess they just want it at the what is currently in our time, 1 a.m. at the midnight.
Yeah, I'm
reset.
not entirely sure on that one because it is, as you say, a shop.
It's a shop, but
it's not like a mini game or anything like that.
But it's your reward though, isn't it, for doing the diary that you can collect once a day?
I think the diary reward resets.
Oh, does he want the shop, not the diary reward?
The shop itself, the stock.
Can we have all the battle staff shops reset? I thought he was going to go on about the diary reward from Zaf. Don't know. Would you want to do the shop then? Interesting.
Oh, I can have a look at it and see how technically difficult it is, but
something to discuss as well. I'm just I'm not.
I guess it's an interesting one because right now I buy runes from certain shops to do the Viswax, like because you use elemental runes to make a nice healthy profit. There you go, tip for you guys. But if you do it just prior to midnight, obviously the Viswax resets, but the runes in the shop don't reset. So because that just takes a full 24 hours or just less than that to reset. Interesting one for discussion, I imagine. When will you be from Gasman? When will you be updating the quest point cape to model all of the other skill capes?
That is currently sat in our backlog.
Yeah.
It's currently sat in my backlog actually, but I decided to make more GE slots instead.
Yeah.
We can. I don't know. It's up to you, Head Ninja. Do we give it to another developer whilst I'm busy?
Maybe.
Maybe.
We can see.
Harsh.
Is the model made or?
Yeah, the model's made. We've just got to plug it in so you can attach your hood and then override it with the legacy version. That you can.
Okay. And then while you just mentioned that, the GE slots, that was something that we put forward the other week about having more GE slots. How's that going? You said you wanted feedback. What feedback are you after?
What, the feedback I put out earlier on?
Yeah, you said you were after
some feedback. That was for GE history.
Oh, sorry, history.
I updated the GE history interface.
Oh, sorry, yes, slots in history. Yeah. So you did the history one. What feedback are you after for the GE history?
It's on my Twitter account at JagXPie. It's on my Twitter. Basically, I took it. It was an old interface.
I saw you put little nice pictures on there.
Put nice pictures on there. I took some inspiration from the old school one. Let's be honest. I'm not gonna like hide that. It looks awesome. And then I just want your feedback on what you want it to look like. We also increased the number of items in your history to 10.
So we've got like six at the minute, isn't it? So is it 6 at the minute? Then
it's 5 at the minute.
Is it 5?
5. So we've doubled it.
It's pretty nice for the players. From visitors, would you consider making PvP armor last 10 hours of combat instead of 1 hour to make them at least on par with tier 90 power armors? I imagine they're talking about that Statius, Vesta, Morrigan's, etc. Only lasts 1 hour, doesn't it? Degradable.
Combat balancing wise, it's not a problem.
Yeah, we can do.
I guess the tier 90 does completely outpower. It's tier 78, isn't it? Or is it still 78?
It is still tier 78, yeah. Like, they don't have the armors don't have any passives, and the special attacks, while some of them are good if used in very specific situations, in general they're not that OP. So giving them a 10-hour isn't too bad, to be honest.
From Mr. Adelaide, oh, you're writing that one down as well.
Yeah,
it's going on his pad.
I've got 3 now.
It means you've got a good you got hope. The hope. There is hope. The hope pad. Be careful, it's not like a god book and the page blows away. Right, Mr. He didn't get out at all. It's terrible. Went down like a lead balloon.
I appreciate that. That's a good one.
Simon's laughing at me now. Will we ever be able to buy RuneScape merch with bonds? Don't think anyone. Does anyone know?
GD. Thumbs up from.
Okay,
That's the plan.
I was going to say, if no one knows, right, from thoughts from my head, so don't take this as like fact, right? But, incoming quote on Reddit. Yeah. This isn't going to be as bad as our like, quick, make up some lore on the spot to cover the holes. I'm pretty sure we're looking to expand the store further. It started off as very much a shop where you could buy some t-shirts. It's going to further with new products and other things like that. Get aprons and stuff on there now. But hopefully one day going towards like plushies and things. I'm getting nods to that as well. There we go. This is good. And then hopefully have that function where in the future you will be able to buy stuff with bonds from your obviously in-game currency as well.
Just keep adding to it until he stops nodding his head.
Yeah. What else do you want to see on
Cars. We're getting cars from the merch store.
Oh god, that's dangerous territory.
That's not a nod. No, no cars.
That's really dangerous territory.
I still want to do the pizza for bonds.
Everyone wants to do pizza for bonds.
I want a boss and then order Domino's.
Problem is, it would require loads of stuff. I guess the reason we don't do it is because it requires so much work from Domino's themselves, wouldn't it? Or
yeah, I don't know.
or any other pizza brand, of course.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd mind. I think we're okay with that. What's your favourite pizza brand?
Are we getting paid for this?
No, don't have one.
You don't have one? What?
Pizza's pizza.
Pizza's pizza. No, it's
Yeah,
not.
it's
I'm
all
telling you
good.
now. Like when you bite into that Domino's pizza with your double tomato sauce, man, that tastes good, right? But when you bite into that pizza, and it's so greasy that the whole cheese goes whoop, slap, burn your whole chin, and you're like, no! Like, it matters, my friend. So it's Domino's for me. There you go.
Yeah, you should try cherry box.
We have some other random questions from, this one's from Twitter, I think. Oh no, we're losing it. I'm going to come back to it. Oh, from Anrak. When will we hear more about the construction reworks? Were they hearing more about construction reworks? Is that like, what are they on about?
No, I mean like construction reworks are the same as us, in discussing anything like any other skill rework really. We haven't made any plans for any. Yeah, there's nothing to talk about there really. I mean like there is a possibility that we will do construction stuff, add more construction stuff into the game, reworks or whatever.
We're not. It's not reworks so much, but the Guardians have got a thread up on the forums at the moment for just some tweaks and changes to construction.
Like Ninja-esque kind of fixes? Or
yeah, a little bit.
A bit more in depth than that.
I think Mod Olo is going through those at the moment and making a few little tweaks here and there.
It was stuff that came up as you did the aquarium, wasn't it? And
yeah. It's kind of a follow-up from the aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you make a flat pack and you click on the portal and you just go, whoop, and then just look at it. And then you've ever done that. So with the aquarium, obviously, it was an epic room. I completed my aquarium. Mm-hmm. It was a pretty epic room, but it took a lot of effort. So doing every room like to that kind of extent it's not really feasible unless you don't want updates for a while, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's more looking for quality of life and just ease of use.
Yeah. I guess just to expand this question, could we ever see things like that in the future, like another aquarium-esque room, or would that have to come through RuneLabs?
We could. I mean, an interesting thing with the aquarium room is it turned into more of a fishing update than a kind of construction one, I guess. And there was we could easily have the aquarium outside of the POH in the end, I think. So yeah, there's that. I'm not too sure if how interested we are really in adding more POH rooms. I think when people talk about construction, what we really like to do is be able to do like more surface world content with construction.
That'd be cool.
I think that'd be a lot more cool. Just being able to like build your stuff on the surface world for everyone to see or whatnot. Obviously tricky, but I'm sure it's something we can work out.
Another question from Buster Slam. Will we ever see more hybrid gear beyond the current tier that's 75 that War Priest has?
If we go above tier 90, then you might do, yeah.
Fair enough. What about the, because it drops down so far?
Yeah. The hybrid gear deliberately stops below top end gear.
So I imagine the new War Priest is just going to have a new look. It's not going to be any different in terms of stats.
It's going to be same levels
new
as the previous one. Yeah, new passive effect.
New passive effect. Cool. I think we've already said what it was, but we won't say just in case we didn't. Unless you want to.
I'm pretty sure we've said it before. It's going to be a chance to deal the critical hit. So for each piece, you have an increased chance to do something that's guaranteed to be pretty close to your max possible hit.
Cool. Where was another one? Where from Thought Food, will the God Wars Soul Stones be made more useful? As it stands, they only accumulate kill count when killing a hard mode boss, and therefore fairly useless unless pet hunting. Can you change them to count for kill count for normal mode?
I think that'd be good. I think doing something with the hard mode God Wars would be good anyway. Like the Soul Stones obviously aren't enough of a grab to do hard mode.
He's right though, because the drop rate for boss pets is a lot better if you do the hard mode bosses. So I guess that is the only time people really charge them up. So okay, so potentially.
I'll tell you what, do you want me to write it down?
On the hope pad.
Do you want me to write it down, yeah?
So potentially, on the hope pad. Potentially is one of those words like possibly or like perhaps, you know, one of those kind of we have another question from Twitter which says, how are you finding the Twitch presence with the game, and is it affecting the way you think out or you think about updates or go about some updates? I guess this comes to you. I guess you're in charge of some of the the update schedule and stuff.
All right. Okay. I mean, it hasn't really. I don't think it's really had much of an effect at this stage, but I think it could do in the future. I mean, I teased PvP stuff earlier on that we're going to be working on some PvP stuff, and obviously, being able to like view that sort of stuff on Twitch would be desirable. So there could be some stuff there, but in general, it hasn't really affected anything at this time. But I think it would be nice to do some stuff in the future.
Okay, cool.
I think if anything, it's more showing off how we display updates and tease them and things like that, rather than how we make them.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, for example, the second on this RuneScape channel, the second ever biggest live stream behind a free-to-play announcement for us was the Araxor kind of teaser and stuff, which was actually 14,500 viewers on that. So, I guess it does. In terms of teasing stuff, it gives us a new platform to tease stuff on. But I guess for actual content discussion,
it's the thing is like interacting with players and stuff, and it's that interaction sort of thing is really cool. Obviously, like Dev Q&A here, we can read answers and stuff, but we actually had some gameplay that if you were watching on Twitch that you could interact with or in some way, that would be pretty cool. But that's far off, I think.
What was the next one? From Frankie Stees. Will we ever see shield abilities specific to one attack style, i.e. can only use with either melee, range or mage?
So I did see this. I think this is more about like some more focus on using sword and board. We call it sword and board when you've got like a one-handed and a shield. I think that would be quite cool.
So at the minute, like if you whether you range melee or mage with a wand, your one-handed weapon or your whatever your one-handed range weapon, you can use all the shield abilities, can't you? So,
well, yeah, but a lot of the complaints we get about shields, quite rightly, because that's the way it's balanced, is that you'll always get taken offhand because you're always so offensive. If you have some stuff locked to like sword and shield, that's going to be a bit more better. So like maybe bash them and follow up with the slice or something. I think people would prefer more magic and range basic abilities before then. So maybe like we're not going to see them anytime
soon.
Yeah, Magic and Range, I guess, are one that's calling for a few more abilities just to get a bit more diversity, I guess. Yeah. And they've asked for that, well, players have asked for that plenty before, so I imagine that'll come before.
Yeah, but I do think it's a cool idea. I just don't think it's for right now. Alright,
cool. And so from Maradim, where do you see RuneLabs in the future? Will it continue next year, or was it just for 2015? What are you smiling at? You're giggling at. What does he see?
The intention was always it's going to be a thing, a constant thing. It wasn't a limited time thing. Yeah, I mean, like in its current format, it could continue that way, or we could look to change it. I think with anything that we do, we need to, like, after it's run for a while, we need to have a sit down and have a bit of a retrospective. Yeah. However, I feel like we need to actually release a few RuneLab projects.
I was going to say, it's still very early days. I mean, we still haven't seen the turnaround of the first project, and then when you do see that, which, have we confirmed when that is, or are we not going to say?
What is it? Next month, yeah, in June, we have Dragons and the Slayer Belt, which won the first one, so that's stuff coming in.
So beyond that point, then every month you should start seeing the RuneLabs project from 5-6 months prior, which will be cool. So I guess it's still early days.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can think right now that you'd like to change, or you think you'd want to change?
I'm still keen to get like a most trending list and having that in game. So where we currently have in the community section, we have where we have the polls. We have a tab there for RuneLabs. That was always meant to be a placeholder for a most trending list, but that requires work from web, and they had to move off RuneLabs to do like the Chrome issue of them not supporting Java, and they've got a bunch of other stuff in, a bunch of other requests that they're working on. So when they have the time, they'll no doubt do that. So I'm keen to get that in. I think that'd be good.
Yeah, cool. And then there was a question last week, and I didn't think I had time to ask it, so I'll go into it now about what they said about what do you want to do about, or what's the future plans with player power polls, because with RuneLabs kind of taking away from that a little bit.
It's kind of unfortunately killed it a bit. Obviously there hasn't been much polls recently. With the RuneLabs things, and a lot of it being decided by like the people submitting the ideas and such, there is a lot of less things for us to poll, because the projects that we determine we want to work on, like the same way that the players have determined what they want us to work on, we do the same thing, and therefore there's less to poll. It'd be something nice to do a bit more of, but yeah, I think we've kind of we've gone one way, and we need to bring it back maybe a little bit to bring in polls again and stuff. But I mean, like, within the Ninja team, we discussed a few that we might be doing in not the very near future, but maybe in a couple months' time or something.
All right, cool. And then there was a question that came in from the chat asking, from Evil Jaws, will Rune and Adamant Dragons have any certain requirements? Which I guess will come to you.
Yeah.
We have one of them, don't we, because of the location, which we mentioned.
Yeah, the Rune Dragons, we said they're on Kessie, and that will require... it's Ritual of the Majorat, I believe.
I'm pretty sure it's RTM.
Fate of the Gods.
Is it? Simon will know.
It's Ritual of the Majorat, because
it may be some other high-level quests, possibly the World Wakes as well. I'm not entirely sure about that one. And for the Addies, I believe they're only reachable with Slayer levels. We've got kind of a few levels to spread people out a bit and stagger. And I think they start at 80, 85 and 90, but don't quote me on that. But certainly high-level Slayer.
Sorry, I was just briefing.
All right. If I said something wrong.
No, sorry.
Anyway, that is pretty much time there. And we got through quite a lot of questions this week.
Yeah, it didn't feel like an hour.
It's pretty good.
It was good.
Right, so just before we finish, guys, I just want to mention that there is a live stream on later this evening as well, which is the loot from 10,000 Elite Clue caskets. Last week we did 10,000 hards. Picked up kind of the average loot. I don't know, is it 220k was the average loot from a hard clue. So it'll be interesting to see tonight with 10,000 elite clues what the average loot will be from that. That will be at 8 PM game time. So if you want to tune into that, it'll be on this channel later on. And then next week, obviously, we'll have the same Q&A again. If we do anything different next week, we show anything next week? I'm not sure.
Maybe.
We'll let you know. If
That classic answer.
But you can always ask, if you would like to get your questions asked, then there's a Reddit post, there's a forum thread in RuneScape General on the forums, and there is also, you can ask them with the hashtag on Twitter at any time. But if you ask them usually on the Monday prior to the Q&A, then you got a really, really good shot of having those questions answered as well. And as always, ninja quests are welcomed as well, mainly for you two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go in the pad.
If you're lucky, they'll get their way to the Pad of Hope.
The Pad of Hope, yeah.
Was there anything we wanted to push people to? The like any God book stuff or any topics we had this time around?
For ninja stuff is if you check out the ninja subform.
We've got a few
on the
devlogs
RuneScape
going right
forums,
now on
there's devlogs.
chat.
Yeah, we post stuff there,
and things,
so you can give feedback on all of our projects there.
There's the G history interface on Reddit right now and on my Twitter.
Yeah, so if you've got any feedback on the GE history interface, then that can go towards ModPie. There's a beta playtest, which is on Thursday. Wednesday at 5 PM game time. There's a beta playtest as well for the Def rework, I believe that is. So make sure you get involved with that if you'd like to. Then any threads you'd like to plug for? You got anything going at the minute?
Not for the Guardians, I don't think. Not game updates. There's a quick question I think there about Darklight. It's not being ignored. It's still under review, but there's still no news. So
okay, there you go.
That's it for there.
You got a quick update.
Yep.
On a Darklight. Anyway, guys, make sure you follow the Twitch channel, and we'll be back next week. But huge thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.